Hey everyone, I'm Clayfect, and today is going to be all about this guy. My dirt golem Grug that I sculpted about a year ago. I am still very happy with him, but I feel like there's something missing. I feel like Grug is missing a wife. So that is why we're going to play around with some crystals in order to make him one. So without further ado, let's get started.
He took 100 pounds of clay, and then he said, hey listen, I'm gonna fix this world today, because I know what's missing.
So in order of making Grug's wife, we're going to smash this quartz geode. Now some of you might think that it's a crime against nature to smash this beautiful rock. And I do sort of agree with you, but please hear me out. This quartz geode was bought on a vacation as a phony amethyst many years ago, and it has long since stopped bringing me and my husband joy. So for me, I had three choices: either float the rock away, give it away to somebody who really like quartz, or as the artist that I am, smash the rock and turn it into something else that would bring me, my husband, and hopefully also Grug joy. And that is why we are now recoloring all the rock pieces using ink and letting them sit for 12 hours before we dry them off. Now the reason I decided to make shiny, yeah, Mr. Clayfect named her shiny, was actually because of something I said when I made Grug back in the day. That's why I decided to make a tiny little flower that is going to grow out of Grug's hand. Which is actually pretty evil of me, come to think of it, because knowing Grug, he will never close his hand around a tiny flower. So now he's just forced to run around with one open hand. And I know Grug is just a sculpture, but I just couldn't stand the thought of him running around for the rest of his life with one hand open. So that is why I decided instead of he's just looking at the flower, he's actually offering the flower. Hopefully completing the picture and Grug's story in a much more wholesome way. Now on a completely different side note, if you decide to dye some rocks just like I did, please make sure that you aren't using cheap gloves, because otherwise you're going to have ink-stained hands for the rest of the video and have to tell people that they are going to have to live with your ink-stained hand for the rest of the video. Now I do apologize for my very colorful hands. I did try everything and it just wouldn't come off. So I guess it's just a thing we have to deal with while we are finally starting to sculpt our little troublesome sculpture. And troublesome it was. Or at least for me, she was troublesome. I guess it is because you can't be a perfectionist when you're trying to make rocks because you want it to look sort of natural, and nature is by definition very chaotic. But at the same time, when it came to place the crystals, it was sort of a puzzle game. So not only did I have to turn my perfectionism a bit down, I also had to do a lot of puzzling when it came to placing the rocks, as you can see here. And I guess I better just come out and say it. Guys, I don't enjoy puzzles, and I have never been good at them. That and the game Ludo is just ludicrous in my opinion, the worst game ever. I'm sorry, but that's how I feel. I was actually relieved when I had secured the rocks with some bacon bond and I could start playing around with some clay again, making her a nice set of buns. Now I have to admit, I always want to make the best sculpture to show you guys, and for me shiny just wasn't it. I can't really put my finger on why, because she did turn out as I had pictured her in my head, but still she just wasn't doing it for me. But Mr. Clayfect love her, and every time we have had friends or family over and they stop to look at all my sculptures, they lurk around shiny the most, I have to say. And I don't know if it's because they're fascinated by her, or if it just is as truly ugly as I feel she is. But I guess that is just part of being an artist. Sometimes you just need to push your own voice away and listen to what others tells you. Otherwise, if you have an inner voice that are just as negative as mine, you are going to give up and abandon your project, and that would just be sad. Because after some time, Shiny actually ended up growing on me, and I will not say she's one of my favorites by far, but I do like her and I do feel like she's fitting in with my little sculpture family. Speaking of family, if you want to be a part of this little creative family and become a Clayful, then please like, comment and subscribe. We would love to have ya. I am very proud to say that this community is full of kind and creative minds, and I would love for you to be a part of it. So if you like what I'm doing, please consider it. Now with that out of the way and the legs done, all we have to do is decorate some more before we can work on her head. And while I'm doing all that, why don't I tell you a little bit more about Grug's wife, Shiny. Now, I knew I was going to make Grug a wife very soon after that he was done, but I didn't know how I wanted her to look. I just knew that she wasn't going to be another dirt golem. And usually, I do take a lot of inspiration of the sculpting process to the lore that I'm creating for my characters. But Shiny is technically just a shiny rock, and there was not much for me to get inspired by with a shiny rock. I mean, what kind of attributes does a rock have? Cold? Hard? Sturdy? None of those were attributes that I wanted Shiny to have. But then I realized I am actually the author of Shiny's story. I can make her however I want. So here we go. Shiny is a very girly girl, even though her body shape and type doesn't match that description. She's kind, sort of shy, and very much in love with Grug, which make them the perfect pair in my opinion. She is just so opposite other stone golems. Not tough, would never get into a fight with anything, so I picture her as a bit of an outcast compared to other golems. If you want to hear the story and lore about the golems, then there is a link in the description below, or you can wait to the end of the video where Grug's video is going to be shown. But in Shiny's case, I don't think she is a war-walking monster. I actually think she yearns for the simple life. All she wants is a family to take care of together with Grug. Well, that and flowers. I think she's fascinated by flowers. This colorful organic thing that is growing out of the dirt is just magical to her, since she herself is purely non-organic. Which is why I decided to give her a wide grin, since Grug is going to be giving her a flower. Now, when it comes to how and her Grug met, it is very simple. She accidentally stumbled upon him and tipped over him while he was taking a nap. And from there it was pretty much love at first sight. Shiny's story might be a little bit too easy and trivial for some, but given the problems I had with this sculpture, I do feel like it's okay that something about her was easy. If you feel like you want to take the challenge up and make a crystal anything really with Polymerclay, your saving grace is going to be the oven clay adhesive. I really do believe that our Shiny here does contain almost as much oven clay adhesive as she contains Polymerclay or crystals. Between balancing her on two legs without a base plate because I'm still just that stubborn, puzzling the crystals together so they look natural even though Shiny was made over 3 bakes, or trying to make each body part look like an individual rock without it falling off poor shiny was a challenge. And it might sound like I'm complaining because I didn't end up liking shiny that much, but to be honest, I actually enjoy challenges. Pushing my skill limits and what I can do as an artist is so much fun for me. One of my biggest dreams as an artist YouTuber is that I one day manage to make something that make you guys go, how in the world did she manage to do that? Even after you have watched the video and the sculpting process. Now, I know I'm not quite there yet, but one day I hope to really blow your mind with something. Not that I am in a hurry to reach that goal. It's nice to have small goals that you sort of can enjoy the way to the mountaintop instead of just the mountaintop. I do believe that small, not stressful goals are important in life. I think they help in a way, or at least they help me. I will be honest, I am not in a good place right now. My mom has just broken her leg and are starting physical therapy and it's very, very hard on her. Mr. Clayfect is about to travel for work yet again and I hate when he travels. And one of my friends are very sick. And that makes my mental health and sleep a very, very delicate act at this point. But that is when our good sponsor come in. Me time. Sometimes you just have to take some me time and set some funny goals and be happy with what you are creating. You thought that I was going to say better help, didn't ya? Yeah, well, maybe those guys would help too, but they are not paying me, so I am going with me time. Try out one of the many variants of me time today. You can get social me time, creative me time, or just plain old relaxing me time. It can be done completely free and might even change your life at least for a day. So try out me time today, while we finish up our little shiny girl here. With the last details before I got to cleaning, and oh my god, there was a lot of cleaning of crystals. However, I will say, even though I'm not a big fan of shiny, she did turn out sort of decent. But with that, I think that is it for this sculpture and it for this video! Thank you so much for watching. I hope you like Little Shiny more than I do. Even though she was more challenging, I am definitely on Team Grug. If you can call teams, since they are a team. And you know what happens when a male golem falls in love with a female golem? Yeah, so go watch that short. Because unfortunately it is time for me to sign off. I hope to see you next time, but if you can't wait until next time, why not click on the square to the right where you're going to see Shiny's husband Grug get made. But until then, as we would say here in Denmark, hold da munter!